Hello listeners, you're listening to 18 Minutes with Satyal and Silwal. I'm Satyal.
And I'm Silwal, and we're a weekly podcast on the Himalayas.
When it's a Tuesday and it's 7:30, you know it's time for perspectives, conversations and stories.
Welcome to the 34th Tuesday, and this has been an amazing ride. We have some news which you might have already heard. We are the official
podcast of the National Speaking Championship 2016, which is happening this Saturday. Satyal Speaking Silwals as since March 2016. Alright, so we have two amazing guests.
One of them has returned
to the show.
Yeah.
For the first time ever.
Yeah. We've never done that, so.
Yeah, that's great. What's his name though?
Wait, before we introduce him, remember the 11th Tuesday we talked about sales and dating?
Yeah, which was no use to me.
Yes.
Okay, go on.
And we've brought that guy in.
I don't know why you brought that guy in. That was no use to me.
So welcome, Abhishek Maske!
Thank you so much.
What did you teach me, man?
That's because you lack communication skills. You don't know how to talk. You don't know how to speak.
Probably that is why Silwal has brought you back. So yeah,
exactly.
let's go by the...
He was doing all, stalkerish things that everyone apparently does.
Yeah, because I don't trust these two guys, I have brought in another expert with us in the show. He goes by the name of Umesh Shrestha. So these guys are from Empowerment Academy and they are the faces behind the National Speaking Championship, which we are also a part of, and for that you can come watch us.
Apparently we've given the freedom to host the show, and you're gonna just find out how bad we are.
And the thing is, we're hosting the show but we don't know how to talk. So Maske, tell us, can we speak better?
I don't know how to talk, man. That's why we're holding this championship. Otherwise I would be definitely competing here. Just promoting the speaking culture in Nepal. That's what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
So Umesh sir, we're trying to bring this speaking culture that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Why don't we have a speaking culture in our country?
We have a speaking culture, but we don't have that kind of speaking culture.
Elaborate, please.
Yeah, I mean, we talk every single time, right? Right through the morning to the evening till we sleep, we talk blabber, blah blah blah. But we don't speak meaningfully. We don't speak effectively. We don't speak to make a point. So I've seen this problem with a lot of students, and because I'm a teacher, it's a big problem for me, because in the classroom when the students cannot express what they are feeling or what they are facing problems like, so yeah, speaking is a big problem, and that's what we are trying to change in Nepal.
Umesh sir talked about this culture that we've been brought up in, where we don't really speak meaningfully, right? But Maske, you're known as a very good speaker. How did that journey start for you? And how's your journey different from someone else's who cannot really speak?
Do you want me to lie or be very honest about this?
Honestly.
As long as it adds value to the podcast and we can get a lot of views, you can do anything.
Okay, so let me tell you the honest fact. When I was, it was back in 2008 when I was in India. I knew no one there. Mm-hmm. So there was a pretty girl in my class, and I overheard her saying she liked people who could talk very fluently. So then I went back to my apartment. I had a big mirror in my apartment. I had nothing besides that, so I started speaking to myself in front of the mirror, and then I didn't miss any opportunity for class presentations and anything. And then that's how it started. That's the opportunities that gained me experience.
Silwal, what about you?
I don't know, man. I think I started out because my mom runs a school, and she always wanted me in classes to build up my confidence. And to be honest, when I was young, my cousins used to listen to all these English songs and Nirvanas and Metallicas and whatnot, and I did not understand them properly, and I wanted to speak as good as Eminem, and I always practiced, and that's how my journey started.
Okay.
Sing us a rap song, man.
If I was not going to be
here, right? Okay, so Umesh sir, how was your journey like, and what were your few drills that you started doing to improve your speaking skills?
Maybe I started taking speaking really seriously after I started teaching. As a teacher, one has to be a good speaker, and if you are not a good speaker, the students the students won't believe you. So just to have that credibility that a teacher has to have a very good speaking skills. I started practicing, and then this TED Talk thing happened. I started watching TED Talks, and I was just dumbfounded that my speaking skills were like so below, and I started practicing. So unlike Maske, I didn't start speaking or practicing in front of the mirror. It was during my dream that I started practicing subconsciously. Yeah, just like Steve Vai. Yeah, that's my speaking journey. And when I was a student, I used to be a very loud mouth, and probably that also helped me become a good speaker or a better speaker.
Okay.
All right, Satyal, do you want to share your journey?
Mine was, we've always talked about finding believers in the podcast. So I was fortunate enough to be around amazing people who had that drive to improve their speaking skills, and I had an amazing mentor. So we used to sit back in college and practice. And there was just one time when we stayed back till 11 o'clock at night. And the guard guys were like, please go back home. This is not the time to be in college. Come back tomorrow at 7 o'clock. And that is how it started. So there was a lot of practice behind this. I don't know if I'm that great right now, but I've definitely come a long way, and that was part of it.
All right, so the National Speaking Championship is happening on 26th November.
This Saturday.
Yeah, so let's all imagine that we are part of the competitors right there. So what would your actions be for the preparation of it? How do you think you could improve on your speaking? Let's start with Maske here.
So I'll definitely, if I was competing there, I'll definitely start with a story, because I hate facts, I hate numbers, I don't want to be talking about that. I would start with a story, connect with the topic, and probably end it with on a lighter note, making a point. That would be my style.
Okay.
Yeah, the same thing we stress during our workshops is that don't start with learning these body language rules. You don't need them. What you need is a content, a very structured, proper content which you can again improvise on. You need a structure, but you need to also find ways to improvise that structure when you are speaking. So my advice would be to, again, just like he said, prepare some stories, personal stories, authentic stories, and give it a very good structure. How you gonna start, how you gonna end. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so Silwal, you are a co-host of that show. So how would you?
My partner is Satyal.
Yeah, and I'm going to learn from you. So what would you
stop promoting yourself? This is your podcast.
What would be? How would you prepare for emceeing such a show where the theme is about speaking and?
Well, as he's talked about how content is important, I'd look at the context of it, the environment, the people right there. So I'd look at the kind of people that are coming in. I don't want to be this, because this is not going to be a very strict show. I'm going to have fun in it. So I know there's going to be young people, and I'm going to model my presentations based on how they would actually want to see it, instead of being all this formal and adding juju at the end of everyone's name. Right?
Yeah, we're not going to do that thing.
So I think I would look at the environment, the people coming there, and that's how that's my start of it.
Okay. So one question I want to throw back to our guests is, you've talked highly about stories, but what I've seen from my experience in dealing with younger Nepalese is they kind of feel like they don't have anything to offer. They feel like their stories or their life events are insignificant. So is there any way we can change this perspective? How have you built your stories throughout the years? And just how can we feel like we have stories to share?
Stories are a collection of experiences, and most of the people think that their experience is not that grand enough to be a part of a story. But that's a myth. Even a single experience of a conversation with a microbus driver, that could be a part of that story, or a conversation with your teacher, with your parents. Anything can be a content, anything can be a part of that story. We just have to get rid of this belief that your story has to be like of Lakshmi Prasad Devgota or some really, really great people. So yeah, I would suggest that even smaller things in your life could be a big impactful story.
To add to that, you find stories everywhere. Like you said, you can find a story talking to a bus driver, and being able to use those stories according to the context that you're talking about. That's important. At times, people I've been to a lot of public speaking workshops, and one of the things they teach is you have to be funny on stage. That doesn't mean you joke about something that has no relevance with the content you're talking about. So finding that connection is another important thing.
So we are talking about our personal stories and individual stories that we've gathered throughout our years, right? Many a times I've seen people who take stories of successful people and then they try to use it, because one of the Facebook posts that you had was how unoriginal sometimes people get in their stories. How does that affect when you're judging it or you're looking at a presentation?
Yeah, I would be utterly disappointed if someone steals or rips off the story of Dhananjay and says, do you have emotional moms? Add all your moms and you get my mom, something like that. That's a
been to
rip-off.
that situation. I've been in that situation. This guy tried to actually give a speech. He thought he was the best, and then he started saying the same story. And I was like, I've heard this somewhere, and then I realized it was his, and then I made fun of him in the whole class. So probably he didn't talk to me after that.
So that would be an utter disappointment. And probably 0 in the scorecard.
Okay, so participants, we hope you're listening. Just come up with original stories. For listeners who are just starting out, understanding that speaking is important, one thing I can draw from our conversation right now is start noting down experiences in the form of journals, or Umesh sir always talks about noting it down in your phone as a memo, and you can develop a story out of it. That's how write-ups come up. That's how a presentation is made, I guess. Next question to you guys, to Silwal too, is, so imagine there's a listener who has not really had any experience of public speaking prior to listening to this podcast. Now, because of the magic of the podcast, he or she suddenly feels enlightened to start this journey. Had to do it.
He's promoting himself.
Had to do it. So, what would you suggest? How can they just start? Like, what's that small step that they can take?
First, don't forget that the fear of public speaking is a myth. It's a complete myth.
It's a complete lie.
It's a lie. There is nothing called fear of public speaking. There's something called nervousness. So what I feel is fear is about danger and nervousness is about uncertainties. So if you kind of can figure that out, you won't be scared to go on stage. You will feel nervous, and nervousness is good because you're only nervous about things that you really care about.
Enjoy your nervousness, just like going for the date for the first time. You're nervous, you may not have the money, or the girl might not like you. That nervousness is fun, I think. Enjoy that nervousness. The same thing happens when you're on the stage. I really hate people trying to sell off this fear. They start their workshop or they promote their workshop by saying that public speaking is the #1 fear, and if you want to get rid of that fear, join our workshop. Bullshit, man.
So, all yours?
For me,
one tip.
I am nervous because I don't want to look stupid in front of people. That's where my fear comes in, to not be stupid. But I think over the years I've realized that it's okay, right? Making fun of myself, self-deprecating, that's what I do, self-deprecating humor. So that while I'm laughing at myself, at least I'm trying to entertain the audience as well. So rather than them laughing at me, that fear has gone away. We're laughing together at myself. So
and that's the first rule of being a funny presenter. People categorize me as the funny presenter. So the main rule is, until you make fun of yourself, no one's gonna find you funny.
So my simple rule would be just like take 3 deep breaths. One for yourself, one for the audience, one for the both of you. That helps a lot. Breathing helps a lot. Trust me.
That's saying Satyal for it.
That actually helps. Okay, we're quickly coming to the end of the podcast, but let's just talk about the National Speaking Championship and what we're really trying to achieve out of this. So how did this idea germinate, and what do you hope to get out of this?
The idea is to promote speaking and presentation culture among students. They really need this. Some people even, some writer said that presentation literacy is a skill for the 21st century students. So we just want to promote this culture, and through this competition, hopefully we will spark or ignite some interest or some passion in this culture. So that's our overall objective. We're not doing it for money. We're not doing it for anything. We're just doing it so that we can, spark that passion among students.
And one of the things that I really am excited about is any kind of championship that happens right now. Maybe it's a case writing competition or a business plan competition. It ends with a presentation, but there is no competition just for presentations, just for telling stories and just for having some fun.
Yeah.
So that's what gets me excited about the National Speaking Championship.
Yeah.
So yeah, for those people who are just like finding out about this opportunity and have not participated, how can they get involved?
You buy tickets.
Okay, you buy tickets.
Yeah, they can come and watch the whole show. The tickets are available. You can message us. You can send your message to Empowerment Academy on Facebook or to the podcast holders, organizer hosters, Sagar and Assis. Oh, did I just
ruin the surprise?
Yes,
Nobody knew. No one knew our first name before this.
And for other people who don't just want to come there to listen to it, but want, now that you're like teaching them about workshops and everything, so how can they get in touch with you?
Like our Empowerment Academy page, we update all the time, and we love doing workshops. So if you want us to do a workshop at your college, just invite us there. Or we do host monthly workshops, so you'll be updated through our Facebook page.
Yeah, we're also ready for collaboration works. We've been doing collaborative work with different colleges. So if you wanna do some work with us, we're also available.
Yeah. So listeners, if you're interested, just connect with Empowerment Academy, Maske, Umesh sir, or us. We can help you connect with them.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see you on Saturday on 26th of November
At Club 25
at
Hours.
Club 25 Hours.
So it's gonna be fun. We're just trying to explore and see how we'll be as hosts. And it's a fantastic event, and it's more than an event. I think we should all look at this as a movement of trying to develop that culture, and it's a great thing that you guys are doing. So thank you so much for being on 18 Minutes with Satyal and Silwal.
Yep.
So everyone, we'll see you on Saturday. If not that, then we'll catch up with you next Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. And one last thing.
It's never too late to start.